My name is Buck Williams. I am three-quarter Cherokee Indian. My mother was full-blooded. Dad was half.
Okay.
And I am not offended when you call me an Indian, nor if you call me a redskin.
Yeah.
Do you know where the term redskin comes from?
Well, I know you have a better answer than I would.
When we get ready to kick your butt, we paint our face red.
Okay.
Yeah. What better name for a football team than the
Right.
Redskins
Yeah.
means we're about to kick your butt.
The Kansas City Chiefs, the Atlanta
Yeah.
Braves, the Cleveland Indians. I loved all those. It's a shame we're changing all of that.
Oh, trying to change stuff is...
Because you're trying to satisfy a little, like, 3% of our population that's offended about everything.
The problem with it is the word is part of our history.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. I'll ask you 4 questions.
Okay.
The answer to all 4 questions is the same word.
Okay.
When they first developed steam engines, they had one that went down the side of the conveyor belt in the coal mine, scooped coal off the floor, and put it on the conveyor belt.
Okay.
They gave that engine a name. What do you think that name was?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'll ask the second question.
Okay.
Cowboys and mountain men carried a big twist of tobacco. They broke off pieces, smoked, chewed, traded with the Indians, whatever. What did they call that twist of tobacco?
Have no idea.
Okay, like I said, it's the same word for all 4 questions.
Okay.
Third question. On a saddle, on the off side, a piece of leather hangs down and the cinch is hooked to it.
Okay.
You pull the cinch under the belly and lace it on this side with the latigo. What did they used to call that one piece of leather that just hangs there and holds the cinch?
Don't know.
I'll ask you the 4th question
Okay.
and see if it helps.
Okay.
What's a derogatory term used against people of color that starts with the letter N?
Well, I'm white, so I'm not allowed to say that word.
There are 17 different definitions for the word nigger.
Okay.
The 17th definition added in 1962, derogatory term used against people of color. Of the original 16, the only one that referred to people was a dirty, slovenly, stingy individual.
Oh,
No race or color was mentioned.
okay.
The word was taken from a Scottish word, niggardly, which means to be stingy and miser-like.
Okay.
Okay, the name.
So
was,
even that twist of tobacco was referred to as that.
back in the old days, ground tobacco was called nigger hair tobacco. So they called that big twist a nigger of tobacco.
Oh. And now some teacher was just saying to his students, stop saying that word, and he said it out loud, and he got sent home on suspension because he said stop saying the word that they were saying.
Here's the thing about it. They've taken the word out of the dictionary. They took all the other definitions out in 1973.
Okay.
In 1994, they took the word out of the dictionary completely, unless you get the complete unabridged definition. The problem with it is, a kid comes to you and says, oh, they said that guy said the N-word. What's the N-word? Well, my dad, if I'd asked that, my dad would have said, well, you go look it up, that way you'll remember it. Now they can't go look it up. So they have to accept the definition that's given to them by that person.
Right.
Okay?
Because even in my generation, it was different because we'd read Tom Sawyer and the
Yes.
word was everywhere, and the
Yes.
teacher would say the word out loud and explain the meaning of it and so on and so forth.
The thing about it is now the kid has to accept the definition of the guy that gives it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Dr. Martin Luther King would give you one definition. David Duke would give you another one. Which one do you want your kid to accept?
Right.
Why not list them all so the kid can see what the word means?
And now let me repeat for my followers where the spear was Navajo, and what else can you tell me about it?
It was a guy that used to live here in this town a few years ago. Got it from one of the tribes, and when he left town, he gave it to me. So I hung it above the door.
I like it. And you want to tell me where the word cowboy came from?
The word cowboy is minority history. Okay. What we now call a cowboy used to be called a stockman, a herdsman, a cattleman, a rancher, drover, cowpuncher, cowpoke. At the end of the Civil War, there was freedom but no jobs. Black went west. Contrary to what Hollywood told you, about 40% of the cowboys were black.
Yes.
Another 30% or so were Native American and Hispanic. And back in those days, Native Americans, blacks, and Hispanics weren't called men and women. It was a derogatory thing. If you took care of the house, you're the house boy. If you took care of the barn, you're the barn boy.
Right.
If you took care of the cows, you're the cowboy.
Okay.
And there's a difference between a cowpuncher and a cowpoke.
Oh, what's the
A
difference?
cowpuncher was a guy that worked cattle.
Okay.
A cowpoke was an older or crippled cowboy.
Oh.
And what he would do when they started delivering cattle on the train, if one lays down, the others will trample it and kill it. The cowboy for the entire trip would walk the roof of the train with a long stick. And if he found a cow laying down, he'd poke it till it got up.
Okay.
Cowpoke.
Cowpoke. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, Buck, you're just a wealth of information, and you sometimes give lectures on some of this old information that people are losing track of, right?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to tell me about that?
I go around and I do lectures on it. I tell them what cowboys really had and didn't have, what they've lied about, Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
For example, how many cowboys wore sunglasses?
I don't know.
Probably the two most famous were Bob Hickok and Doc Holliday.
Oh.
Both of them had prairie blindness. Hickok also had glaucoma. Excuse me.
And so was it just tinted glass?
It
The
was
sunglasses?
a darkened lens, and they were called smoke lenses.
Oh.
The oldest recorded pair of sunglasses, excuse me, from 1551 in Milano, Italy.
Oh.
Back then, they used to grind two magnifying lenses, put them in a leather figure eight, strings held them on your ears so you could read.
Okay. Nothing like these.
No. The guy that was grinding the lenses knocked them into the oil he treated the leather with. Glass was more porous back then because they couldn't achieve the heats we do. 2 weeks later, when he took the lenses out, they'd taken on the amber color of the oil. He thought that was cool and started doing it on purpose and selling them as light-reducing lenses.
Ah, interesting. And then you're a good knife thrower, yeah, and good with these whips.
According to the Guinness Book of World Records in 2008, I'm 7th in the world for speed and accuracy with a bullwhip.
Okay.
I'm 5th in the world at cowboy fast draw.
Buck Williams, I got to remember that name. Wow, that's impressive, Buck. Do you mind if I give this a go? Give
Go
it
right
one
ahead.
snap?
You're probably going to make the big mistake everybody does.
What's that?
Don't.
Oh, I was just going to try to snap it.
Don't do that.
Okay.
I will show you why.
Okay. Buck here's an interesting guy. I got to learn from him.
All right, I'll explain this to you.
Okay.
A bullwhip was one of the first things ever invented that breaks the sound barrier.
Yeah,
When you hear a whip crack, that's a sonic boom.
I did know that.
Speed of sound is 760. This thing cracks at a little over 1,200 miles an hour.
Wow.
The hardest thing to teach people is to do it easy.
Oh.
Everybody wants to
Do it
like
hard.
they saw in the movies where they do it hard and yank back.
Yeah.
Well, if you do that without training, you could go home as somebody's sister. That's where it's going to hit you.
Okay.
It's the same motion as casting.
Okay.
You just come around nice and easy and point at your target.
Okay.
That's all there is to it.
Uh-huh.
And what you were about to do is this one.
Yeah.
I'm seventh in the world and I hate doing that.
Okay.
Now, you video this. This is why you don't do that. It's cracking right in your face.
Yeah. That's too close.
Way too close.
Too close for comfort.
Now, like I said, I'm seventh in the world.
Uh-huh.
I can put out both your eyes at one crack.
Well, I'll watch what I say.
Okay?
Okay.
Even with your glasses on. I can cut your jugulars.
Uh-huh.
You pull a gun or a knife, I cut all the tendons. I've actually put a gash that long in a Huey helicopter. The sergeant said, "Can you hit this target?" And I said, "Yeah," and he stuck it on the... And I told him, "Don't do that, it'll damage the helicopter."
Uh-huh.
He said, "Oh, it's metal." I said, "Sarge, I'm telling you, it'll damage the helicopter."
Uh-huh.
He said, "Well, I'm the sergeant and I'm telling you to hit it."
Okay.
Left a gash like that, you could stick your fingers in. He started screaming and yelling. The lieutenant said, "Shut up. You ordered him to do it."
Yeah, yeah. Now you're retired LAPD?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm born and raised my whole life in Los Angeles.
Ah,
Yeah.
I was born in Ohio, grew up on a ranch in Alabama.
Oh.
Marine Corps. I was a hand-to-hand combat and survival instructor.
Wow.
What you can eat, what you can't eat, how to live off the land,
Okay.
and how to properly fold clothes while people are still wearing them.
And your last name is Williams, and now you have this shop here in Williams.
After the Marine Corps, I was a deputy sheriff, and I went to Ohio. I spent 3 years as a deputy sheriff there. Then I went out to Los Angeles. I did 20 years with LAPD. My wife, who also is retired LAPD, we had passed through here a bunch of times.
Okay.
Our last name's Williams.
Uh-huh.
And so she said, "Well, that'd be cool."
Yeah.
So when it come time to retire, I said, "Pick it," and this is what she picked.
All right.
So I had 3 years as a deputy sheriff, 20 with Los Angeles Police, 6 with the U.S. Marshal,
Uh-huh.
and then I moved here and did 15 years as a train robber.
Oh, okay, on the Grand
On the Grand
Canyon.
Canyon Road.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
me on the horse chasing the train right there.
Okay. What a fun job that must have been.
Oh, playing with the kids.
Yeah.
I would teach 3-year-olds how to crack this.
Uh-huh.
Before the show started, I'd get them out there and
So you gave a whole life of service from the beginning to the end with military service, policemen, and even this, making kids happy and getting them interested in the Old West. Now, is your wife still with us?
yes, she is.
Wonderful.
Yes. 40, we're going on 43 years.
Wow. Let me shake your hand, Buck. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah. But no,
Now, how come you keep a $100 bill just sitting out in the open like that?
because that $100 bill is, if you look at it, says Hollywood movie
Oh.
only.
Oh, okay.
And most-
Boy, it fooled me.
Well, most folks come in here and they see it and they say, "Oh, by the way."
Yeah, you want to make sure you put that
Well,
somewhere
if
safe.
You notice I leave the whip set right here.
Uh-huh.
Occasionally I get somebody that does
Oh, that's terrible.
and I let them get just about the middle of the room and remind them that it's mine.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for the information. My followers are going to enjoy it. Thank you once again, Buck.
Well, see, I have fun with it because there's so many things that we hear and say and do, and we just take it for granted.
Yeah.
That, I told you about the fertilizer.
Yeah.
You ever been hungover?
Yes.
Where's the term hungover come from?
Don't know.
Back in the old days, if you got so drunk you passed out in the bar, they took you out and hung you over the horse rail till you threw up. You were hungover.
Okay, okay.
All of those words and sayings come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of them have a different meaning than you think.
Yeah.
Okay, one that's very popular, heard it all my life. I'll be there, the good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And most folks think that means if the Lord lets me live and the water stays low.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, what does it mean?
The guy that made the statement was going from point A to point B through Creek Indian territory.
Oh.
I'll be there, the good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. He
Oh.
was talking about Indians, not water.
Oh, gotcha. Like they don't rebel, rise up.
Right.
Yeah.
And or things like, if you want your face smacked, you call a young lady a loose woman.
Uh-huh.
And most folks think that means that she's,
Promiscuous.
yes. In the old days, women wore corsets. When they were working, they couldn't bend over and they couldn't breathe. So if they had a job where they had to be moving and everything, they'd loosen the corset just a little.
Uh-huh.
Things would jiggle, and they were called loose women.
Oh.
It meant they were hard-working ladies, not ladies of the night.
Oh, okay, okay. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna have to say hi to you more often when I stop by. I'm gonna end this video now though, because my viewers only like videos within a certain time frame.
Okay, well now you let me give you your thought for the day now,
Okay.
and you feel free to use it.
Okay.
When you're dead, you don't know it. It's the people around you that have to suffer.
Yes.
The same thing is true when you're stupid.
Yeah, you don't know it.
Yeah, you don't know it. It's the rest of us that have to suffer.
Well, they're happy, right? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And it's the people around them that aren't happy, having to tolerate them.
Have to put up with them.
I'll end it on that note. Thank you, sir.
All right, sir.